Today we want to look at loop and lists in Python, and we're going to look at how to use them together. So how we delete this? Let's revisit the loop. Now, first thing is, let's look at a list. I told us that a list is a container that can store many values at a time, a lot of values at once. So let's create a variable. Let's say nums. This is a variable, and this variable is a list. So in this list, I want to save values there. So I have these 4 values in my list. If I want to check the number of items in the list, I will use len nums. So immediately I run this command, it's going to tell me the number of items in my list. So print len nums, that is, this len will tell us the length of this list. And the length of this list is 4 because I have 4 items in the list. Let's run it together. So I have 4 items in the list, and that's why we have 4 here. So the len will tell you the number of items in the list. Let's proceed. Next, if I want to look at the first item in the list, I'll say nums index 0. So that will give us 4. If I say nums index 1, that will give us 5. If I say index 2, that will give us 6. Okay, let's proceed. Next thing is this. We now want to quickly revise a list with us. Let's now look at a loop. For I in. So I will remove this list for now. For x in this, when you want to run a loop expects an iterable to be here. It expects that you have to put an iterable. What is an iterable? An iterable is something that Python can loop over, can skip over, something like that. An iterable usually has a lot of items. It usually contains many items, and Python can move over an iterable, like from the word iterate. An iterable is something that Python can iterate over. An example of that is a list. For x in, what Python expected is an iterable. I can't put 7 here because this is not an iterable. Whatever must be here must be an iterable. What Python can loop over, can iterate over. So one of those things I can put there is a list, because Python can iterate over the items in this list. I can also put a dictionary because Python can iterate over it. So just keep in mind that what Python expects is an iterable. An example of that is a list. So what happens here is this. For x in this list, like I said, an iterable usually contains a lot of items, not just one. So x will first be the first value in that iterable. In this case, it will be the first value in this list. So x will first be 6. Then it will print hello. When it's done, x will be the next value in that iterable, which is 7. Then when it's going to print hello, then x will be the next value in this iterable, which is 8. Then it will print hello. Then x will be the next value in this iterable. Then it will print hello. So now we've come to the end of the iterable because there's no item in this iterable again. Python will now stop there. Do you understand it to this point? Any questions so far? Okay, let's move on. So I will run this. So we see this hello. Next is this. Instead of putting it here, we can just save this as a variable and say variable, we can say var equals to this. So we are saving this as var. Then we can now say for x in var, it's still the same thing. So instead of copying this and pasting it here, we are first saving it as a variable, then we are using it here. It's still the same thing for x in var. So x will first be 6, then it will print hello. When it's done, x will be 7, it will print hello. When it's done, x becomes 8, it prints hello. Then x becomes 10, it prints hello. Let's proceed. We can now say print x. Print x. So remember, x will first be the first value in this I table. X will first be 6. So when you say print x, this will print 6. When it's done, x becomes the next value there, which is 7. This prints 7. Then x becomes the next value there, which is 8. Then this prints 8. Then x becomes the next value there, which is 10. Then this prints 10. So this will print 6, 7, 8, 10. Any questions so far? Okay, let's proceed.
I have a question here, sorry.
Sir?
Sorry for taking us back. Sorry for taking us back.
Sorry for...
Am I audible now?
Are we? Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I can hear you, sir.
You mentioned that. Okay.
I mentioned.
Can we also put what? Can we also, instead of list, can we also use a dictionary in place of list?
Yes, sir. We can
You
use a
mentioned something
dictionary.
like that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, alright.
Any iterable will work. In fact, we can even use a string. Let's say Taiwo. That's because Python sees a string as a list of characters. So the first, let's say I have this like this. So if I say A index 0 is T, A index 1 is A index 2 is I, A index 3 is W, A index 4 is O. Do we get it? Like a string like this is like a list of characters. So Python can iterate over it also. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. So we're just expecting an iterable here, something that Python can iterate over, something that contains a lot of values. And a list is a very good example of that. Like I said, we still have two other data types to consider. And those ones are also iterables, meaning they can also be here. They can also be here. So let's move on. For x in var, and if you say x will first be 6, then it prints x, which is 6. X becomes 7, it prints x, which is 7. Then x becomes 8, it prints x, which is 8. Then x becomes 10, it prints x, which is 10. Next thing is this. We can now say print var index 0. Let's see what happens there. X will first be 6. Print var, which is this list, index 0. What is var index 0?
6.
6. That prints 6. Next, x becomes the next value here, which is 7. Then print var index 0. What? Then it's going to print 6 again. Then x becomes the next value, which is 8. Then print var index 0 is going to print 6 again. Then x becomes the next value, which is 10. Then print var index 0, which is 6. So it's going to print 6 4 times. Do you understand it?
Okay.
Sir?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Let's proceed now. So we know that x will be each of the values here. Let's take it a step forward, and I will comment this out. So instead of putting var here, you can use a range. You can say range 5. And explain to us that the way a range works is that when we say range 5 like this, it's going to create something that is similar, an iterable that is a list, not a list, an iterable, but it's not a list. We are going to check the data type later when we talk about the 2 remaining data types, but something similar to a list that looks like this. Something like this. So x will first be 0, then it will print, let's just say print x like this. X will first be 0, then it will print 0, then x becomes 1, it prints 1, then x becomes 2, it prints 2, then x becomes 3, it prints 3, then x becomes 4, it prints 4. In fact, this is the same as just cutting this and pasting it here. But the reason we use range at most times, instead of writing this like this, the reason we prefer to use range is this. Imagine we want to use this instead. Imagine we want to use this, and we want to use 10,000. Then it means that we have to come here and put 5, 6, 7, 8 till we get to 10,000. But when you are using a range, I can just say 10,000. Do we understand? This is shorter. So if I wake up tomorrow and I wanted to just stop at 100, I just need to come here alone and change this to 100. So this is going to start from 0 and stop at 499. Instead of writing it one after the other like this, 8, 9, 10, till we get to 499. Do you understand it? Please, do we understand?
Yes.
I understand.
Okay, thank you, sir. Let's move on. So we're going to say, let's just say it's 5 like this, and like I said, x will first be 0, then it prints x becomes 1, it prints x becomes 2, it prints x becomes 3, it prints x becomes 4, it prints x. So this is going to print 0 to 4. We have this. Let's take it a step forward. Next thing is this. Let's now bring back our var. Yeah, like this. And instead of saying range 5, we can say len var. What is len var? What is len var?
4.
It's 4.
4. So this is the same as saying for x in 4, and I explained to us that this is not an iterable. It's not. We can now put this in range. So this is the same thing as saying for x in range 4. Do we understand? By writing this, it's the same as saying for x in range 4. So x will first be 0, it will print x, which is 0. Then x becomes 1, it prints x, which is 1. Then x becomes 2, then it prints x, which is 2. Then x becomes 3, then it prints x, which is 3. Any question? So this is going to print 0, 1, 2, 3. Note, it's not printing 6, 7, 8, 10. That's because we don't have the list here. Instead, what we have here is range 4 like this. So it's between 0, 1, 2, 3. Any question? So you might ask that, well, why this? Why writing it like this? For instance, since what we want to do is range 4, why not just come here and say range 4? It will become clearer as we proceed. It will become clearer to us. Now, when you need the index, the position, and the value together, then this is the way to go. When you need both the position and the values together, this is the way to go. Now, why am I saying that? Look at something. If I say var x, remember I said just now that this is the same thing as saying for x in range 4. And we know that range 4 is like this, 0, 1, 2, 3. So x will first be 0. It's going to print var index 0. What is var index 0?
6.
6. That will print 6. Then when it's done, x becomes 1. It's going to print var index 1, which is 7. Then x becomes 2. It's going to print var index 2, which is 8. Then x becomes 3. It's going to print var index 3, which is 10. And since we've come to the end of this, then it's going to stop there. Now, the advantage of this is that even if we increase the length of this thing tomorrow, I don't need to come here and change this to maybe to 6 now, because this length, we automatically pick the length of this itself, which is 6 now, and it's going to increase this to 5, something like this. Since this is length var and the length of var has increased to 6, so it's going to automatically change it to for x in range 6, and we know range 6 looks like this. So x will first be 0. It's going to print var index 0, which is 6. Then x becomes 1, var index 1, which is 7. Then x becomes 2, var index 2, which is 8. Then x becomes 3, var index 3, which is 10. Then x becomes 4, var index 4, which is 15. Then x becomes 5, var index 5, which is 20. Now, you will agree with me that what we have here is the same as just saying var, like this. Print x. This here and this here will give me the same results. But like I said, when you need the position with it, then this will not be enough. Let's use the position together. We can say var x is located at index. Now I need a position. I'll say index x. So let's explain what is going on here. X will first be 0. So what is var x? That is var index of 0, which is 6. It's going to say 6 is located at index x. X is 0. So it's going to say 6 is located at index 0. Next, x becomes 1. It will say var x, var index x, which is 7. That is var index of 1. Is located at index x. X is 1. Then x becomes 2. It's going to say var index of 2 is located at index x, which is 2. Then x becomes 3. It's going to say var index of 3, which is 10, is located at index x. X is 3. So that is 10 is located at index 3. Then x becomes 4. It's going to say var index of x, which is 4, is located at index 4, which is that is going to say 15 is located at index 4. Then x becomes 5. It's going to say var index of 5, which is 20, is located at index 5. Do we get it? Who doesn't understand what I just explained? But you see, this will not give me the ability to know the position. For instance, I can display 6, 7, 8, 10, 15, 20, but I don't know their position. There's no way to get their position here. Of course, I can display the values there, what is inside, but I'm unable to get their position. So whenever you need the position, then this is how you go about it. Do we understand? Do you have any question? Are we still together?
Yes.
Okay, please, do we understand, or do we have any question? If you understand, say I understand.
I understand.
Okay,
I understand.
Sister Shay, please, do you understand?
Yeah, sorry. My children are making noise. Thank you. I got it. Thank you so much.
Okay. Alright, let's proceed. So this is how to use it. When you need both the position and the values, then you use this method. Now let's now take it a step forward. In our last class, Stasha asked the question, and that question is, I think we looked at something like this. Yes, we want to display all the values in this list except the value at index 2. Except the value at index 2. Or better one, imagine you are asked to display all the values in a list except the third value. You know the third value is index 2. This is index 0, this is index 1, and this is index 2. So we want to display all the values in this list except the third value, which is index 2. Now, I'm referring to index 2, meaning that I will need both the value and the position. I want to display all the values in the list except the value at index 2. So since I know that I will need both the value and the index, then what should come to your mind is this. So let's first try to do it with this, and we'll see how it's inefficient to give us our result. I will comment out this part from now. We want to display all the values here except the value at index 2. We can say if var is not equal to 8, then print it out. Print x. So x will first be 6, which is the first value here. Then is this condition true? Yes, var 6 is not equal to 8. This condition is true. It's going to print 6. Then x becomes 7, which is the next value. Is this condition true? Yes, 7 is not equal to 8. It's going to print x, which is 7. Then x becomes 8. Is this condition true? No. No, this condition is not true. So it's not going to print anything here. Then it goes to the next value. X becomes 10. Is this condition true? Yes. So it's going to print 10. Then x becomes 15. Is this condition true? Yes, it's going to print 15. Then next x becomes 20. Is this condition true? Yes, x is going to print 20. So it's going to print all the values except the value at index 2, which looks fine. Do we understand it to that part? It looks fine, at least for now. Let's run it. Oh, why is it printing 8? It shouldn't print 8. Let me see what I'm doing on here. Oh, sorry. X. So it's not printing out 8, which is what we actually want. But then there's a little problem. Imagine we have another 8 here. Then it's not going to print out these 8s. It won't. Because the condition says if x is not equal to 8, the task we have to do is not to display the value at index 2. And the 8 here is not at index 2, meaning that we ought to see this one. Even though we won't see this, but we ought to see this. So this will not be efficient enough to do what we want. Do we understand?
Yes.
For us to know. On it.
Then imagine another scenario again. Imagine tomorrow someone changed the value at index 2 to 100. So now the value at index 2 has changed to 100. If we still run this same code, then it's going to display 100. So normally it ought not to display the value at index 2, but because the condition here is if x is not equal to 8, then since we no longer have 8 here, it will display the value for us. So do we see the problem with this now? So we need to find a way of not just getting the value here, because what we used here is the value at that particular position. We don't just want to get the value there. Instead, we want to ensure that whatever might be there, just safeguard the position. Here we are trying to safeguard the value, but what we want to do is we want to adjust this code so that we would targeting the position, not just the value there, because we are aware that the value at that position can change at any point. Our conditional statement is targeting the value, but we want to write our code such that we won't be targeting values. Instead, we will be targeting that position itself. such that even if the value changes, then it will still work because it is that position that we are targeting. So like I said, whenever you want to write both, whenever you are dealing with both index and the value, then this should come to your mind. So we're going to use this to solve the problem. We say if x is not equal to 2, print var index of x. So let me comment this part out. For now, I will remove this. So let's see what happens here. X in range length, this, remember I told us that this is the same thing as saying for x in range, what is length over? That's the number of items there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is as the saying for x in range 8, and we know that range 8 is like this: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So x will first be 0. Is this condition true? Yes. 0 is not equal to 2. Remember I told us that this, what we have here, is actually represents the indexes. What we have here, this list represent the index. So is this condition true? Yes. 0 is not equal to 2. It's going to print var index 0. That is 6. It will print out 6. Next, x becomes 1. Is this condition true? Yes. 1 is not equal to the condition is true. It's going to print var index of 1. var index of 1 is 7. It will print 7. When it's done, x becomes 2. Is this condition true? No. Because this condition says when 2 is not equal to 2. And since 2 is equal to 2, this condition is false. So it's not going to print this out. So we won't be able to print var index of 2. We won't be able to, because it's not going to do this now. Then x becomes the next value, which is 3. Is this condition true? Yes. 3 is not equal to 2. It's going to print var index of 3, which is 10. Then next, is this x becomes 4. Is this condition true? Yes. Print var index of 4, which is 15. Then x becomes 5. Is this condition true? Yes. var index of 5, which is 20. Then x becomes 6. Is this condition true? Yes. var index of 6, which is 8. Then x becomes 7. Is this condition true? Yes. var index of 7, which is 9. So this will not print out this 8, but it will print out this 8. Let me remove all of this so that it's not going to constitute bulk to import. So we didn't see that it's at the index 2. Next, even if we change the value here to anything else, at index 2 to anything, our code will still work fine. We won't have to touch anything here. So you can't see on drawing. Any question? Let's look at another example again. Imagine this. Imagine we don't want to display the value at index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at index 5. So we can just say if x is not equal to 5. If x is not equal to 5 points. So it's going to print all the values except the value at index 5. So x will first be 0. Remember the length of this. The length of this is I think 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, 8. X will first be 0. Then is this condition true? Yes, it's going to print var index of 0, which is 6. Then x becomes 1. It's going to, is this condition true? Yes, var index of 1, 7. Then is this, x becomes 2. X becomes 2. Is this condition true? Yes. It's going to print var index of 2, which is 8. Then x becomes 3. Is this condition true? Yes. It's going to print var index of 3, which is 10. Then x becomes 4. Is this condition true? Yes. It's going to print var index of 4, which is 15. Then x becomes 5. Is this condition true? No. It's not going to print that. Then x becomes 6. X becomes 6. So is this condition to yes, it's going to print var index of 6, which is 8. Then x becomes 7. Is this condition to yes, it's going to print var index of 7, which is 9. So you see all the values except this 20. Any question on that? Do you understand?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, suppose the letters or what's the okay, how will I say it now? That what's that index number that's like what you did now, that if x is not equals to 5.
Yes, ma'am.
So suppose we want to, let's assume that it is equal to 5 and we're able to pick just only one from the list. We're able to pick only one value, which will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 20.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So now suppose we now want to use it. Can we create another container to store that number that has been picked from the list and use it for any iteration? Maybe like let's say just we want to, so that our hex that was picked from the value, we now want to times it by 2 again. So
Yes, ma'am, we can do something like this. We can say, let's say we can just save it as variable num equals to var index of x. So even when we are done with our old
no, what I'm thinking that will happen is that since is x, so do we still need to use val s again?
if whenever we call on x, we are only calling on the position. Remember,
Okay.
this thing, what we have here, stands for range 8. This place just stands for range 8. And range 8 is like this: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So x will only be the values in this place, not the ones here. Do we get it?
So s is only range. It's only an index,
Yes, x here
not
is
the real value. So now to call it with to make it real, so to call it we have to put the list the variable. We have to put it together with the
yes.
variable name to bring it to call the real value out.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Yes. So x only represents this, not this. If we want x to represent this, we would have used this directly. X will represent each value here. But since we are using this, x only represents this, which is the index, the position of these things. And that's why we are using len, so that even if this one should increase tomorrow.
So like when I'm now make it to be val s times 2 and print our num.
Okay. So we can just say print no. So now we'll print out 40. Do we get it? Any question?
Sorry, I can't see that 40. Please.
Oh, is it, man? Let me run it again. This 40.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So that is how to go about it. Whenever you need the position and the value, then you use this method. So that the reason you are using the length here and not just count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We could have just written for x in range 8. But imagine the number of items here increased tomorrow. Let's say I now have another value. Then it means I need to come to my code and change it to 9. But by using the len like this, even if this should increase tomorrow and we have a new value, then this automatically pick the length. Since the length of this now is no longer 8 but now 9, so you won't have to touch your code. Do you get it? And the truth is this: at a lot of time while working, you won't be the owner of this list. Most of the work you'll be doing, you won't be the owner of the lists. It will be a list that you can't really control the values inside. Maybe you are getting it from a source, maybe from somewhere. Most times you won't be the owner of the list, so you can't control the number of items inside it, and you want to use it in your own code. So imagine you put a static value here. Imagine I just put range, let's say range 9, because I have 9 items there. Now if this list should now increase tomorrow, what do you think I will see if I run this code? Let me just say print, let's just do something like this, print var index of x. What do you think we'll see if you run this code?
We'll see from index 6 to index 9. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Index 6, that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to see 8, but this is index 7, 9. This is index 8, 30, and 40. Are you saying we see 8, 9, 30, 40?
No. 8, 9, 30.
Okay. Is that?
8, 9, 30.
We will see 8, 9, 30.
Yes.
Okay. Any contrary opinion? Any contrary? You said we will see 8, 9, 30.
I think you not see the last, only the last number.
We
You
see
see
which is 60.
8, 9,
Let's look at
30.
what happens. Remember range. Thank you, sir. Remember range 9 is like this. Range 9 is like this. So x will first be 0. Print var index 0 is going to print out 6. Then s becomes 1. Print var index 1 is print 7. Then s becomes 2. Print var index 2, 8. S becomes 3. Print var index 3, which is 10. S becomes 4. Print var index 4, 15. S becomes 5. Print var index 5, 20. S becomes 6. Print var index 6, which is 8. S becomes 7. Print var index 7, which is 9. Then s becomes 8. Print var index 8, which is 30. So we see from beginning to this point, but we are not going to see this 40 and 60. Do we understand?
Yes, that's what I said. I said we are going to see from 6 to 30.
Oh, is that from index 6?
Yes, I said from index 6
This is
to...
index 6. This is index 0, index 1, index 2.
Yes,
index
that's
3,
what I'm saying.
index 4.
That's from index 6 to 30. You will not see 40 and 60. That's what I said.
Yes, sir. This is index 6. 8 is index 6.
No, maybe because I used the word index. What I'm saying is from 6 to 30.
Okay, I cannot get it. So we won't see this last two. In order to see the last two, we need to change this to 11 so that we can see this. So instead of changing and changing and changing, we can just say range, calculate the length of this var. So it's going to automatically pick the length of this and put it here itself. Now another question for us. If I say, let me just say this number of items here. If I say there are, of course I need to convert this to string so that I'm able to concatenate it. X, let's say shoes here. So if I run this code, what will I see? Now let me remove this line. So if I run this code, what will I see?
We will see there are you see zero from the string s. String s will just show us 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3. There are
Perfect.
0 shoes here, there are 1 shoes here, there are
Going to
till
see.
when it gets to 3.
That's perfect. That's what I want us to just note. I just want to put, I want to bring our consciousness to the fact that this x only refers to index, not to the values here. So this will give there are 0 shoes here, then s becomes 1, there are 1 shoes here, s becomes 2, there are 2 shoes here, then s becomes 3, there are 3 shoes here, and it will stop. That's because the length of var is 4. So that becomes for x in range 4. So we know that range 4 will stop at 3. Any question? Now, another thing I want us to note is this. When you see this word, this function called range, it's very fun. When I say range 4, it's the same as just saying range 0, 4. Start at 0, end at 4. Range 4 is the same as saying range 0, 4. But the difference is, you see this first value is inclusive, meaning it's going to include it. But this second value is non-inclusive or exclusive, it's not going to include it. If I say range 1, 4, start at 1 and end at 4. But this is inclusive, meaning that 1 will be part of my result. 1, 2, 3. But this second value is non-inclusive, 4 will not be here. If I say range 3, 8, it's the same as saying, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This second value is non-inclusive. It's not going to include it. Do you understand it? So range 4 is a shorter way of saying range 0, 4. Do we get it? Do we understand? Hello everyone.
So range 0, 4 will show 0 to 3.
Yes, I will show 0, 1, 2, 3 like this. 0, 1, 2, 3. So this and this, they mean the same thing. They mean this. So what's now the implication of that? Let's increase this list. Let's say I have 12, 13, 14, 18. Now, inside this list, I want to see how the values starting from 8 to the end of the okay, let's say I want to see all the values starting from 8 to the end of the lists. Again, I want to see all the values starting from index 2 to the end of the list. How do I go about it? I want to see all the values starting from index 2 to the end of the list. How do I go about it? I want to see all the values starting from index 2 to the end of the list. How do I go about it?
So it will be x,
Okay.
s,
Okay.
yeah, okay, x in. Sorry for that. Okay, x, no, not like that. I just want to tell you how he's going to pick it,
Okay.
but I don't know what to. So x in brackets, in square brackets. Oh, sorry, val
Okay.
in square brackets,
Okay.
two codes. Yeah, that one we pick it.
like this.
So yeah,
So if I
no,
put
inside. No,
like this,
two. There will be a code. Sorry,
okay,
keep quiet.
it goes like this.
No, not that code. Oh, what's it called? Column.
Okay, a colon. Okay, like this.
But inside it, not outside. Not outside. It's after two.
Okay, after two, like this. Okay.
Oh no, inside before
Okay,
the
now
code
I guess what
started.
you're saying now.
Yes.
Colon. Okay. Okay. Like this. Now, this is a shortcut, and it's going to be useful later. Starts from 2 to the end of the list. In fact, all I just need to do is, let's say, paint it like this. Start from 2 and end. But then, with our knowledge of loop, I want us to get used to this loop. This is a shortcut. Uh, Teaching us, I'm actually teaching us programming. I'm not really teaching us Python per se. Listen, the difference is that you see what you have here, you will not see it in most programming languages. You won't. So meaning that when you get to those programming languages and you want to achieve the same thing, you'll be stuck and you won't know how to go about it. Do you understand? You won't know how to go about it. But you see, when you say 2 starts from 2 and this colon means 2 to the end, which is fine. But like I said, I'm teaching us programming generally, so that when you get to a new programming language tomorrow, you start moving immediately. You won't have you learning from the scratch again. So based on our knowledge of for loop, what we've learned, how then do we display the value from index 2 to the end of the list?
I think we just put like what is there now? 2, comma. Is that from index 2 to the end? Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe 2,19. I don't know.
2, comma.
2,9.
Yes. Yes. 2,9.
Now, one thing I want, we are not really getting the point. Remember I said for x in range this, and I told us that when you say range len, we are saying range, the len is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Abi? So x will first be 0, then x becomes 1, x becomes 2 till it gets to 7. Why not say range 2, 8, so that x will first be 2. This will now print var index 2. Do you understand?
Oh, yes, you're right.
So this will print var index 2. Then x becomes 3. Because 2, 8 is the same as saying 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yes.
So x will first be 2. Then it's going to print var index 2, which is 8. Then x becomes 3. Then it's going to print var index 3, which is 10. Then x becomes 4. It's going to print var index 4, which is 12. Then till it gets to 7, which is the last, which is going to be 18. Any question? So I'm not going to say 2, len like this, which solves the problem. The reason I won't put 8a, the task is display the value from 2 to the end of the list, so that even if this list should increase tomorrow, it will still be to the end of the, if I had written 8 here, it's going to stop here. But by saying len var, so even if this should increase tomorrow, the length of this, which is now going to be 10, will be here. Do we understand? Show you what?
Yep.
Yes.
So if you want to display the value at index 2 to index 7, this becomes 2, 7 like this. So it's going to display the value from index 2 to index 7. So that x will first be 2. Then remember what you have here is, oh, you are only referring to index. So this is where you get the position. For most of those things you'll be doing, you'll be needing, or for a lot of them, don't let me say most, for a lot of them, you'll be needing both the index and the position. So you need to get familiar with something like this. Something like this. Python is a very simple programming language, and there are a lot of shortcuts, as Sister Sheyi has highlighted now. There are a lot of shortcuts. But please, I want us to first get used to, should I say, this long way of doing things. Understand it very, very well. Those shortcuts are things that you won't even have to use with. Like they will just be added advantage for you. But I want us to really understand programming itself. This is what we have here is in almost all programming languages. Almost all programming languages. So even when you switch language tomorrow, imagine maybe data science, or maybe tomorrow you hear that, Python is not the most used programming language for data science, is now maybe out tomorrow, then you won't have issues. You will quickly adapt. That's why I'm taking the pain of going to this loop, if statement, functions. They are things that you'll be using in all programming languages. They are things that you'll be using in this language, and that's why I'm bringing this up. And I want us to understand how loop works. Your continue, your break, there are things that you meet in almost all programming languages, and you need to understand how they work, so that even if you switch language tomorrow, you won't have issues understanding how the language works. In fact, I tell you, after this training, you might even pick a program in a different language tomorrow, and the learning curve will be short. You won't have to go through a lot of stress, and it will be much shorter than the first language you are learning, which is Python. Any question? Okay, now, can we stop here today? Can we stop here today? Hello, everybody.
We can.
Okay. So then I think, there's one more thing that will be needed for the assignments. I gave us an assignment in the last class. That will be needed for the assignment. This is a list of dictionary. Name. School. Give me a second. Let me quickly. Okay. Name. Then school. Let me just change this for the sake of consistency. School. Let's say UI. Then department. Let's say CSC. This is the first dictionary in this list. Then I will just copy this. In fact, I just need to copy this. I'll paste it here. Then I'll change this to Kenny. I'll change this code to Caltech, and I'll change this to SABCH. Then let's add one more to it. So imagine I have this. Then school. Let's say let's see. So I have this. This is a list of dictionary. Now, please, what you're going to do for me is, I want to display the department of the 3 students, just the department alone. I want to display the department of all students in this list. Now remember, I didn't say the department of the 3 students here, although I have 3 students. The task is to display the department of all students. And the reason I'm saying all students is because even if you had a new student tomorrow, I still want to display the department of that new student. Do we get it? Do we understand? Are we together?
Yes.
Okay. So the task is you want to display the department of all students in this list. So we can easily use our loop to go about it. If I had said the department of the three students, that's straightforward. We can say var index 0. You know, this is var index 0. This dictionary is var index 0. We can now say, okay, after picking the index 0, now fetch the department for us. This is fetch CSC for us. Do we understand that? Do you understand? If I want to see biochemistry, I'll say var index 1, then I'll fetch the department. This will print out biochemistry. And if I want to see software, I'll say var index 2, and the department, this is going to print software. So when I print out these three, so this will print CSC biochemistry software. Any question? That's on it. CSC biochemistry software. But like I said, the task is not just to display these three students, but instead all the students that is inside this var, so that even if you have a new student tomorrow, we'll still be able to see the department of that student without adjusting our codes. So to achieve that, we can run our loop for x in, you can just say var directly. Now, x will first be this, x will first be this, then x becomes this, then x becomes this. Since we have three items there, we can now say print x so this is going to solve our problem, because x will first be this dictionary, then what is this key department? This will print out CSC. When we are done, x becomes the next item in the dictionary, in the list. This is the next item in the list, which is another dictionary. Then the department, which is biochemistry. The next x becomes the next item in the list, which is this dictionary that is going to fetch the department, which is software. Do you understand? Any question? Show you what.
So the assignments, if I understand very well, is to display the department of whatever the number of students that will be inside this particular list.
Yes. Yes. Since we are not concerned with the index, that's why we are using this method. Let's assume the task is related to index, then we have to use it for x in range, so range var without range len var like we did the other time. But since we are only concerned with the values here and not with the index, then we can go straight with this. So this is going to print the same results like we add like CSC biochemistry software. So even if you add a new student here, as long as that new dictionary also has department, then it will print it out also. So what do I think we also need to get the assignment done? I think I've given us everything we need to get the assignment done.
Yes, what's the assignment again? You know, you did not post the video of the last class. So what's the assignment?
It's in the video. I think it was the very first time I explained in that video. I've sent the videos to the group. The assignment is we did the project.
Okay, this is the
I think it's about this voting. Yes, this is it.
okay. So what you just show us now is just a kind of clue in
Yes, sir.
solving this particular assignment.
So that may give us issues.
Okay.
We might have some issues, and so I think that will help us in case we encounter such problem. So this is the assignment. You will be able to enter the number of contestants and the name of the contestants. Then, after doing that, we'll be able to. Now, I can now vote for the contestants of my choice. Like, the initial task or the task we did last week. In that task, we could only vote for 3 contestants, and those 3 contestants were just Taye, Kende, and Idowu. But now, the contestants can now register. They'll be the ones to register on your application. You first type the number of contestants, then enter the name of the contestants. So at the point of voting, it's going to display all the names of the contestants like this. So you can vote for any one of your choice, any of the contestants you want. Then after voting, we're going to see the results. Any question? So we are just advancing our last assignment. We are just taking it a step further. So everything we've done will be needed for the assignment, and that's why I took my time to explain that, so that we'll be able to get it done. Any question?
Not from me.
Okay, sir. Alright, in absence of question, I wish us a lovely night, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
I
Good
see.
night.